I'm Dr. George Flynn, and you're watching In-Depth TV. We have got such a great topic today, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you're here. Well, as a matter of fact, let's talk about that. Let's talk about being grateful and thankful. You know, in the United States, we celebrate thankfulness one day a year. And we all know we should be more thankful, but we have Thanksgiving one day per year. And after that begins the selling season and all of the stuff getting ready for the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, and then the beginning of the year, and then we've got Valentine's Day, and then we've got, the years just go on. What about being thankful every day? Well, yeah, I know it takes up a little time, and it requires a little bit of energy to be thankful and look for the good in everything. But what if I could tell you about thankfulness and how it can benefit you? Thankfulness, the gratitude, what happens is with that, the brain, the hypothalamus, we think it's the hypothalamus, is activated, and there's a material released in the brain called dopamine. And dopamine makes you feel good. It's the good feeling, natural substance in your brain. We think that causes you to feel good. You know, a lot of people talk about running, and they get to running a certain amount, and they'll have this dopamine release, and they'll feel good, and they'll keep on running. So dopamine is released when that hypothalamus is activated, and it's released and you feel good. Now, when you feel gratitude, dopamine's released and you feel good. So gratitude is what we have when we feel good about things and we're thankful for things. Have you ever noticed if you're more grateful, more things will come to you to be grateful about? So the more grateful you are, the more things happen to you and happen for you, the more grateful you can be. So gratitude has a real benefit, a positive benefit for you. Well, what are some of the benefits? Well, actually, you have a better sense of well-being just because of the dopamine release, and you feel good about yourself. You'll take better care of your health. You will go for your checkups. You will eat a better diet. You will do the exercises, do the workouts that you really need to be doing. You'll basically take care of yourself better because of being grateful. Your mental health will be better. You'll have a better attitude and you'll be more happy. And a guy I know named Jim Kwik talks about the attitude of gratitude, and several of the motivational speakers talk about that. I think maybe even Zig Ziglar talked about it. The attitude of gratitude. And that's what I want you to see, how it helps you. There's a reason for doing that. What about sleeping? You'll sleep better. Being grateful. Have you ever noticed when you're more grateful, you can fall asleep easier and you can stay sound asleep? And you'll wake up refreshed, renewed, and ready for the day, because the day you know is going to bring you something that makes you happy. Now let's talk about that. Makes you happy. Does it really make you happy? And there are a couple of stories about that, and I'll tell you those stories here in just a little bit. But it really can't make you happy, but it can give you the opportunity to choose to be happy. And that is really the opportunity you're looking for, so that you can choose happiness. It's a cute little story, and hold on, when I tell you the story, I think you'll like it a lot. but you'll sleep better. It also helps you overcome trauma, overcome PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And let's see, if somebody cuts you off on the freeway and they drive right along and you're mad about it and you stay mad about it all day long and you're mad about it at the end of the day, that guy's gone on. He hasn't given you another thought. But they've been living rent-free in your head all day long. And you have chosen to make sure that it has ruined your day, ruined your evening, ruined your meals, and ruined your sleep that night probably. Something that someone else did. Yes, they may have been wrong. They have forgotten about it. They've moved on. And what have you done? You've held it inside. You've said, oh, I'm going to get those guys. But you'll never see them again probably. So what do? The easy thing to do is just be grateful. When they cut you off, it may have delayed you just a few seconds or maybe even half a second. Down the road, you may have missed a car wreck. You may have missed being in a wreck. Be grateful. Now, you won't know that. You can just be grateful. Say, something bad might have happened to me, and they protected me from the bad thing. So just have that attitude, and you forgive them. It helps you overcome the trauma, and all of a sudden, you can sleep soundly and actually thank that person for saving you from being in a car wreck. That's just one example. You can come up with other examples in your life of things that happen like that. And the next thing it does is self-esteem. You know, with all of the online stuff, and there's a new syndrome out there called Facebook depression. And what happens is you look at all of these people on Facebook, Instagram, all of the different online resources. And you see these perfect lives. These people are presenting their most perfect life. And you compare it to yours and you say, man, I'm not that perfect. They've really got it together. What I want you to do is appreciate your own accomplishments and appreciate others' accomplishments and celebrate them. Celebrate their wins and their accomplishments as much as yours, and you'll find over time people will all of a sudden start celebrating you. Now, why do I say over time? There's an old story about the guy, looking at this stove. This was years ago, a wood-burning stove, and said, "Stove, give me some heat." Like us saying, "Give me accolades." "Stove, give me some heat, and then later I'll put in the wood." Well, we all laugh about that. We know that doesn't happen that way. You put in the wood first, and then you get the heat. You put in the gratitude first, then you get things coming back to you. So that's a way of looking at it, and I hope that's a way you can remember it, and remember to give that gratitude, give those pats on the back, give those absolute things that you say, man, I really appreciate you and I appreciate everything you're doing. So there we have that. Now, next, how can we become more grateful? Well, one thing we can do, we can have a daily journal. A daily journal about gratefulness, about things you're thankful for. Let's come up with 3 things that you can be thankful for. Just 3. And we're going to do this every day. We're going to have 3 things that you're thankful for every day. We're going to write them down in a journal, or better yet, on a 3x5 card or a note card, or even just a scribbled piece of paper. Write down those 3 things in the morning. And then write down 3 things in the evening Use 3 things in the evening that money can't buy. 3 things that you're grateful for. What about your eyesight? What about your hearing? What about your ability to have someone around you? Someone that cares about you. Come up with 3 things that money just can't buy. Write these down. Now, when you write all of these down, you say, well, what am I going to do with all these scraps of paper? Put them in a bowl or a fish bowl or some kind of container and keep those cards and keep those scraps of paper going into that bowl and the fish container. And when you have those in the fish container, if you ever feel down, what you do is you reach in and you draw one out. You say, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this. Oh yeah, I'm grateful for this one. And keep a list of those. Keep those all little scraps of paper. And that way you're keeping a list in a bowl and you can pull them out at random and see the things that you're grateful for. And anytime you need what we call an attitude adjustment, you can reach in and get that attitude adjustment. How about telling someone you're grateful? Write them a little note, a Post-it note even. And, it's a member of your family. Put it on the kitchen or put it on the refrigerator or put it somewhere, a Post-it note. Tell them how grateful you are for them being in your life, whether it's your mother, father, spouse, kids, friends, at work, at the office, just a friend across the country. You can mail them something, and I don't mean email them. I mean a physical, letter or just a Post-it note or a postcard. Mail it to them. People just don't get mail anymore. They just don't. They get emails. They get texts. They get Instagrams. They get all kind of things, but they don't get mail anymore. And one thing I would like for you to do is when you're shaving in the morning or getting your makeup on in the morning, look in that mirror and look how grateful you are for you. Look how grateful you can come up with one thing that you're grateful for you. Just come up with one thing in that mirror. And that's something you like about you. Now, that may be the hardest thing you do all day, but you'll get in the habit of it. And once you get in that habit of doing it, and do it every morning when you're brushing your teeth or putting on your makeup, come up with a specific time to remember to do that. Look in that mirror and say, I like this about you. And then you're on the road to feeling better about yourself, about others. And one last thing is stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Please avoid talking to someone while you're texting. When you're talking to someone, focus on that person. When I'm talking to you right now, I'm focusing on you. I'm not focusing on text or I'm not focusing on anything else. I'm focusing on you. And I want you to do that with other people because they deserve your entire undivided attention. And the very last thing is reduce judgment. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging others. Reduce judgment. And make sure you increase appreciation of yourself and others. That's a simple formula. I appreciate you being here. I have gratitude. I'm George Flynn. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.